Hello and welcome back to the next One Piece review and discussion. Today we have finally got the full release of the chapter, and just like I thought in the last one, things have now taken a drastic turn and the end of Egghead is in sight. Things are going to be wrapping up rather quickly now. I don't see this being dragged out any longer than 10, 15 chapters. This is going to be a tight trying to escape from the Buster call that has just been ordered. So excited, to say the least, to get into this one. But without further ado, chapter 1105, the height of folly. So pretty interesting title. Who's the foolish ones this chapter? But cover story request comes in the form of Carrot cooking a stew and is trying to get Inuarashi and Nekomamushi to dig in. Good old Cat Viper and Dogstrom. They are getting ready to chow down on some food. You know, our new protector of Zoe, our new leader in Carrot. So, pretty nice to see them again. But where we had last left off, just as I'd said, the Buster call order was given by none other than the 5 elder planet of the Science Defense, St. J. Garcia Saturn. He gave the order, the warships are ready. So, it is currently pandemonium, with all the Marine soldiers who were at the coast fleeing back to ships. So remember that currently in the centre of the island where it's all going down with Kuma just arriving and everyone else, General Marines, Commodore and Lower are not there. They're on the outskirts. Close to the ships. They've just heard the call. They're getting the hell out of Dodge. Things are gonna go south quickly. So they're all escaping. And they're still saying, like, what's going on in the middle of town. And one Marine's just like, hell if I know. I don't even care. I'm just doing as I told, and I'm getting out of here. And we come to that centre island where we see Doll, Vice Admiral Doll. The Vice Admiral's still present at the centre of the island. I've not really done much, other than just probably watch Saturn take a beating from Kuma, get back up and just regenerate, and they all seem to be pretty relaxed about it. Like, we've not seen anyone else's reaction to Saturn in this form being able to do what he can do. All the Straw Hats doing their thing, you know, like Kuma punching Saturn. But we see Kizaru stood side by side with Saturn, and St. J. Garcia gives the order to the Vice Admirals and the Marines who are present that Kizaru and him are going to stay. They're going to remain on the island. And Doll is the one to be like, wait, like, we've got to hurry back to the ships, you know. But, like, and then Kizaru just, like, cuts her off and is like, go. This man's demeanour has took an awful shift. Like, the battlefield itself has changed. Like, he even said it in the last chapter towards the end when he was saying, look, things are out of our hands now. More pieces are on the board. We've got to change things up. And that's when the Buster Call order was given. And he is looking pretty serious now. And Doll is just like, yes, sir. No question. They're dipping out as well. So, of everyone remaining, it is just Saturn and Kizaru. They're going to basically hold down the centre here. But we see that Vegapunk isn't moving. Everyone else got out. They're all heading to the vacuum tube to get up to the lab. But Vegapunk hasn't moved. He is stood facing off against Saturn and Kizaru there. And he's like, look, like, I thought you were just after my life. What are you doing? Why are you giving this order? Are you mad? And Saturn's like, look, you've got to understand that the most cutting edge technology is right here on Egghead. And I think you could be hiding something. And Vegapunk is like furious at this point, saying like, if you destroy this island, we will be set back a century. If the Buster Call goes through, like, the world would be done. The scientific research that he spent doing. And he's like, look, either way, there's going to be no more further advancements. Scott here does not care about humanity. He really doesn't care. And he's like, look, that reminds me, actually. A ship left yesterday, didn't it? You know, but we gave the order to hunt it down. And Vegapunk is like... And it's like, look, it's natural to assume, you know, that those passengers might have had some access to the information about the Void Sentry. We were not risking it. A warship was sent to be safe to deal with it because the best secret keepers of all are the dead. It's like, oh God, Saturn is not pulling punches. This dude is ruthless. No wonder he's in the position he's in. But again, he's really getting under Vegapunk's skin. Like, as much as he thinks in this position, I guess, that he's got Vegapunk dead to rights. Like, a Buster Call is being fired in their direction. Saturn seems to think he's pretty safe from it. Like, it's not going to do anything to him or something. I mean, we've just seen him regenerate. Like, how much can he regenerate himself? But he's given Vegapunk the very stark warning, you know, like, you broke a taboo. Just like O'Hara, you know, you dug up their graves by digging into the past, you know, all this selfishness, all this curiosity got those people killed. You know, you should have kept that greed of yours in check. So, radio orders, we jump away, are still being given. And while all of the hundreds of thousands of Marines that are rushing back to the ship, the pacifistas have been ordered to remain on the island. Everyone else is to evacuate. We can see some of the ships are saying like their preparations are good, they're completed, some's on standby, they're getting ready to go. But the pacifistas remain under order. So, the Straw Hats at the time, down here, we've got Sanji and Frankie rescuing Bonnie and Kuma. We see Atlas as well. They're directing towards the vacuum rocket to get back up to the lab. And Sanji's like, look, yous go. I'm going to go and make sure Vegapunk. And Bonnie's the one to ask, like, what about Vegapunk? And he's like, don't worry, Bonnie-chan, you know, I'm not leaving without him. So even Bonnie just asking him, he's already turned back and he's ready to go and help. So as he is leaving and they're getting into the rocket tube, he radios Nami. And he's like, look, Nami, what's the status up there? Like, what's going on? And she's like, well, we've made it back to the entrance, but it's getting noisy. Like, what's happening? And up in the lab, we get to see, after so long, some of the Straw Hats and what they've been up to. So, they've just heard that the Buster Call, so we're getting their reactions. Chopper and Usopp are, like, distraught and, like, they're, like, just think it's over. Like, the island's finished, they're over, they're dead. And we can see that Nami's quite, like, calm and collected right now. She's like, right, where's Luffy? What's he doing? Sanji's like, not got a clue. I lost him, but let's be honest, he'll be fine. He's a pretty good guy. Just fill me in on what's happening with you guys. And she says that Zoro is still off dealing with Lucci. So they're still, you know, duking it out. And she said that she sent Jinbei to go and, like, stop them and bring Zoro back because he will just get lost. So at some point we're going to have Zoro and Lucci just full on clashing, getting ready to just go toe to toe with, like, high level moves. And Jinbei's just going to come in and just be like, right, Zoro, we're leaving, my guy. Like, it's over. But we do see Edison, like, freaking out, all bandaged up, bless him, and saying that he's really worried about the Stella. He's, like, in a panic. And, you know, thankfully, Lilith didn't fall down with the others. She's actually with Brooke, and they are trying to move the Sunny as they speak. You know, Brooke is helping Lilith, so there's the two of them there. Usopp has probably the best line of dialogue. He's like, "Why are we cursed to go through such like so many busticles? We've got to like get out of here." So it's kind of this is, I mean, hopefully they survive this. They should with story. This would mean the Straw Hats have been able to survive not one but two busticles. So quite a feat, let's be honest. But Robin is resting in like a floating like medical bed. She is still like bandaged up. Chopper's looking after her. And Nami explains to Sanji that they've got a problem. That the Vega Force 1 is destroyed now. Kizaru got rid of the robot and it can't carry them past the coast. It's not possible anymore. So they were like, what are we going to do? But we jump to Lilith and Brooke, who have come up with a very genius plan to move the Sunny. So we see they are zooming along like in the Sunny, no problem. And Lilith explains, she's like, wow, like this is like amazing. Like we're going to get to the entrance in no time. Brooke has used his ice powers to freeze the clouds, and they're just like sliding along the clouds to move. And he's like, look, we're just going to seamlessly like breeze through now. Like this is just effortless. Like this is a genius idea, Bones. And Brooke obviously is like, yo, flattered, obviously. Love the praise. Just a quick question. Yeah. How are we going to stop this thing? And Lilith's like, wait, you've not thought about this? We're going to fly off the edge if you don't stop it. So he then is like, look, like, if you've got an idea, Lilith, I'm all ears, but this is the problem we've got next. So at some point they're going to have to figure out how to stop the Sunny, which is currently sliding across the ice. But we can see the beginning of the Buster Call, the first volley being fired. The defense system, the barrier, is still active, and they're just like, we're just going to blast through it. Let's see if it can withstand this Buster Call. And they're like, we're going to reduce the science lab to dust. It's going to be gone. And the pacifistas join in. They are still present on the island and just start decimating it. Completely destroying it. It is being annihilated. And Vegapunk at this point, this man has gone through such turmoil in the past 48 hours alone. And he's on his knees, and the whole island now is being destroyed. Like, buildings are collapsing. And, like, he's just, like, devastated. His life's work, everything he's built here, everything he's done, ripped apart. And it's quite like a somber moment where it's just Vegapunk by himself watching. But we see that Atlas and the others, so Bonnie, Kuma, Frankie, are on their way to the lab. They're safe. They're in the vacuum rocket. They're on the way. Ooh, what did that say? 32 seconds. No time at all. Who could possibly catch up to a speeding rocket that can get up to the sky in 32 seconds? There is no one possible on this island that could move at the speed of light. So Kizaru decides to show up and uses his technique for his sword and just cuts the tube in half. Just gets right in the way, intercepts past the rocket tube that they're in, cuts it, and they fly out, and like they all just start like spreading out, like the rocket tube is destroyed. And Sanji sees it. He's like, oh fuck, Kizaru, that bastard. He's like devastated. He's like, no. But he's rushing to save Bonnie. He sees Bonnie's in panic and afraid, and Garcia just watching. He's like, pacifistas, fire everything and kill Bonnie and Kuma. And he's so sadistic. He's like thinking to himself as well while he's saying this, like, how subtly ironic this is. Like, you threw your life away to save your daughter, and now her life is going to be taken by your clones. Oh, it's like he sees this as just like some poetic sort of funny roundabout way where he extorted and manipulated Kuma to get these soldiers, these revolutionary machines that will just do any of your biddings, these absolute devastating war machines in the form of Kuma. And they're the things that he thinks are going to kill Bonnie and Kuma. And we see that Kuma, even though he couldn't move, and we don't know if he still can, he has grabbed hold of Bonnie in like a bear hug. He's like got her here. She's like a child tucked in here. He is like still cradling her. Just Saturn being like, a fitting way for a squirming insect to die. This is your struggle is truly the height of folly. So he is just saying like they are struggling, and it is for nothing. It's just foolish. And we see Vegapunk on his knees still, looking up, and internally he's like, look, Bonnie, I heard that you were a pirate, and I couldn't help but wonder that the worst case scenario would be a pacifista crossing your path, because they won't hesitate to shoot you. The Navy would just command it. I know it looks like your father, so you wouldn't fight back against it, but they don't care that you are the daughter of their, like, a fancy word, progenitor, I think it is. So, obviously, Vegapunk is just adding on to how dark this situation has become. They are falling out of the sky. Atlas, Frankie, Kuma, Bonnie, they are like, unless by some miracle something happens, they are in a pretty rough spot, because the shot is them falling and 3 lasers from the ground from the pacifistas getting ready to fire. The very end of the chapter here, we see Luffy surrounded by Marines who, I guess, maybe were vice admirals or more, but maybe just some general who cross paths with Luffy as they were fleeing. But he's come to the vending machine where, funny enough, in the anime, they've just shown that can produce food at the touch of a button. And he is there with like a swollen stomach. Luffy has consumed even more food, and he's like, oh, I'm stuffed. I can't move anymore. Like, I'm done. And they're like, this guy's an emperor. Like, let's just get him. Isn't that straw? Like, what are we doing? But obviously, Luffy's regained his strength, and as soon as he deflates, he's gonna kick into Gear 5 and start throwing hands at Saturn, which I can't wait for. But the situation has took a really dark turn. They are all basically in a corner now. The Straw Hats and Vegapunk and his satellites. Like, there is no escaping currently what is coming. Unless the last panel is a sort of voice from the warship that was sent to go and kill the vessel that Vegapunk had left all his assistants and researchers on, the ones who escaped. They failed to neutralize that vessel. A vessel full of scientists. A warship was destroyed. And the voice is saying, we have to report to Kizaru immediately. He has to know that they are on the way to Egghead. And that's where we end the chapter. With a Navy warship sinking. And someone is on the way to Egghead, just offshore. No break next week, but I doubt we're going to find out who it is straight away. But the question is, who is showing up to save Luffy and the others? First, we still do not know who of the Blackbeard pirates is present. We saw their ship heading for Egghead. It was before the Marines showed up. They've got to still be around unless it was after, but I don't think the times could work that way. 2, we know that Shanks defeated Kid at Elbaf, or the checkpoint, like the very port of Elbaf, and left. Would Shanks be coming back this way to intercept? I doubt it. I don't think it's Shanks. I think Shanks has sailed the opposite way. He's going for the One Piece. He's all guns blazing now. He's decided, oh, you know what, Luffy's at ready. I'm going to go get it. So, don't think it's Shanks. Law, as well, got defeated by Blackbeard. Now, Blackbeard pirates are presently, so far as we know, on the island. What if Blackbeard and his whole crew just decide to rock up? Very similar to a Marineford-esque thing, you know, big battles just have been happened, and Blackbeard just decides to show up and steal someone's devil fruit. See what's going on. Could be, I don't know, pretty dangerous. Someone of importance and relevance has showed up at the shores. Rayleigh was dealing with Hancock's Island just being raided. I don't think he'd get here in time. It could be another of the Rocks or Roger pirates, someone infamous, who's decided to make a move now based on current events. It could be members of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. So, like, any of them showing up. Bartolomeo, you know, his barrier might be pretty useful at this time. It's someone of relevance, someone who has enough stake to A, destroy a warship, but B, pose enough of a threat that Kizaru needs to be the one to be told that they're arriving, but to have enough firepower and strategy and tactics to come and be an ally to Luffy. Revolutionary Army. That could be one. I doubt it. Oh, no, it couldn't be the Revolutionary because they're still talking about Kuma leaving. So unless Sabo is... No, Sabo's back now because he told them about Eam. So it's not Revolutionaries. Could be Blackbeards. Could be Garp. No, Garp's been captured. Why am I saying Garp? There's so many characters to think about who it could be. Who's coming to save Luffy in this part of the Grand Line? Law's done, Kid's done. Shanks is around, Blackbeard's around. Are the only 2 pirates? Could have just new characters. The man with the flame scar we knew about from Wano. A Rouge we haven't seen yet. There's a number of characters who could show up. It's someone who's against the Marines because obviously they've destroyed the Marine ship. So it's hopefully an ally of Luffy. I don't think it's Yamato and that. I don't think they've left Wano. She wanted to explore first and then join them. I mean, we might find out next week. Who knows? We'll see. But things have certainly took a turn, and it looks like some of the characters might come off worse for wear by the end of this. We shall see. Anyway, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Let me know who you think is going to show up. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.